dollar became the standard and the Confederate dollar became completely worthless. And I think that that is where we're headed. I mean, the fiat money is becoming less and less relevant. Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptocurrencies are going to be the relevant ones in the future.
You said something recently which really caught my eye. And a lot of people talk about like Bitcoin hyper Bitcoinization, and you said that you can see Bitcoin replacing the dollar, but you put a time frame on it. You said within the next decade, and you also mentioned like a fiat run where people lose confidence in the US dollar. And I was wondering, for you, what's the primary driver of that? Is it the strength of Bitcoin, or is it the weakness of the dollar?
Over the last 7 years, a dollar has bought, I guess 7 years ago, it bought about 14,000 Satoshis. And today it buys about 800 Satoshis. Each year, the dollar, sure, it loses 5 or 10% to inflation, but Facebook is now 20 years old or something. Google is maybe 25, 27 years old, something like that. So it takes a long time for something to permeate society. And the more resistant and discussive, I guess, a topic is, the bigger it gets. I notice in a lot of social environments where I am, they're all talking about Bitcoin because it's me. But even if I just drop in on conversations, Bitcoin is like one of the top 3 conversations going on. I'd say it's like Trump, and then maybe what's happening in the world, and then Bitcoin. And so what that means is they're all still like, oh, it's still somewhat controversial, which means that there's still a lot of room to run here. The day where everybody says, yeah, I've got Bitcoin and I, don't really want dollars anymore, that will be the day Bitcoin sort of comes to an equilibrium. I think the dollar is going extinct. And that amazing. And the world will be wealthier for it. It moves faster. It's much more flexible. It keeps perfect records. We don't need 80,000 tax people being hired because the taxes would be paid automatically. I'm hoping for a day where I can raise a fund all in Bitcoin, invest it all in Bitcoin, have my entrepreneurs pay their employees and suppliers all in Bitcoin and their taxes, and the whole thing being on a big smart contract. And if that happens, I will save a lot in friction. I won't need as much in the way of accounting, bookkeeping, auditing, legal, transfer agents. I mean, the fiat money is becoming less and less relevant. Bitcoin and maybe some other cryptocurrencies are going to be the relevant ones in the future. So, very exciting that it's being recognized. Larger institutions now are not only signing off, but making it a part of their strategy. And now we have an administration that is not just accepting, but encouraging Americans to innovate and to try this new technology. And that has really woken the place up. And so all these things that I thought were going to happen back in 2022 are happening now. So I think we'll eventually hit my number. I think the only reason anybody wants to hear my number is that I hit it right the first time in 2014 on a Fox Business, and Bitcoin was at $180. And I said that Bitcoin would hit 10,000 within 3 years. And the woman just rolled her eyes, thought, God, what is wrong? It's like the unveiling, and people are going, oh my God, how have I been so blind for so long? Now I need to I really need to bear down and get involved. So that's very exciting. What are there, about 100 million Bitcoin holders? My guess is by the end of this year, there'll be 200 million.
Michael Saylor sort of pioneering this Bitcoin treasury approach. I'm not sure if Draper Associates still holds Bitcoin on their balance sheet. What have you made of this move in the industry and the amount of companies that are now putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet? To me, it kind of signals that people understand that Bitcoin is hard money and it is going to accrue and hold value over time. Is that your general view on that?
When the Silicon Valley Bank went out of business, I got about 15 calls from entrepreneurs saying all our money is that there is a bank crisis, and that you need to be able to make 2-4 weeks of payroll no matter what. So I advised every one of our companies to do what Michael Saylor did, at least in some small way. So it turns out, I'm really heavy-handed telling him to do that. And then I looked at our own partnerships and I said, oh my God, this fund doesn't even have any Bitcoin in it. And I realized, okay, I'm going to call some money and just put it into Bitcoin. So I did. I've done it for every fund since. So
amazing.
I thought, God, how hypocritical of me. I'm telling everybody to buy Bitcoin in their treasury. I don't seem to have it on the fund's balance sheet. And because we call the money as they will use the energy. So they feel there's value in Bitcoin, so they're using the energy for Bitcoin. Those miners who, struggled through all the bear markets now are starting to feel pretty good about themselves, I think. The other thing that people talk about that they think is a threat is quantum computing. And it turns out that Antminer creates new computers all the time. And so do the hackers. They use new computers all the time. But the first uses are always for mining. And if the first uses of a new computer are for mining, then the Bitcoin blockchain is going to be more secure. And so you don't see, and a giant hack of Bitcoin is in no one's interest, because if you could take all the Bitcoin is suddenly worth nothing because nobody wants it. The beauty of Bitcoin is the network. As more people accept it, there is more value to it. And it goes up exponentially. There's a scramble now for both parties to realize, to say, it's been, the Republicans won pretty big because they accepted Bitcoin and the Democrats did not. And they were the counterpoint, I think. So I think in the U.S., the regulatory issue will probably be in the favor of cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And outside the U.S., it's always been more lenient. People have all been able to do all these things that we haven't been able to do in the U.S. So unless they have a major reversal outside the U.S., I don't think we have too big an issue there. When a country goes against and tries to overregulate something like a Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, they do it at their own peril. They stop loving their customer and they start providing worse service at a high cost. And so who are those now? It's like big pharma provides bad service at a high cost. Big government, bad service at a high cost. Big insurance, low service, high cost. All the accounting, that's a nightmare with FASB and all that stuff. And I think the blockchain is going to completely change that industry. What are the other ones? Banking, Bitcoin's challenging the banking system too. Anyway, all these things that advertise on TV are usually, monopolies or oligopolies, and they're starting to provide bad service at a high cost. And they're good places for me to be investing in. Will happen with people. They'll just get better at it. And I think at the same time, Coinbase and others are just going to make it easier to transfer money from one place to another. We constantly make new into bio being like stem cells and cloning and all, category, and our most important category is other. We don't know what's coming. We don't profess to know what's coming. But every once in a while, we'll make an investment in something like Colossal, which is where they're bringing back the woolly mammoth, but they've already brought back the dire wolf, and they've got some giant bird. It looks like Big Bird that is maybe next on their list. They crossed a woolly mammoth with a mouse, and they've got a woolly mouse. That's one where, it probably wasn't on our radar when we started the fund, but now it's an enormous success, or it seems to be, like, headed in that direction. Yeah, so we like to invest in entrepreneurs that are doing really extraordinary things, and I would someday just love to
like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and enabling post notifications for more content on crypto and digital assets. Check out our other videos and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement helps with the YouTube algorithm and keeps the content coming. Thanks for your support. Enjoy the video.